What is up, everyone? Welcome to the final deadline live stream of the F1 Fantasy 2025 season. Oh my god, I can't believe it's here. I can't believe we're doing this one last time in 2025. Oh my goodness, look how awful that clock looks. Let's get that fixed here real quick. Hunky dory and bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully everyone is doing well in the chat. And yeah, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do with this? What are we gonna do with all this nonsense that they have given us in Abu Dhabi? We got Michael in the chat, we got Benad's in the chat, we got Neutrum in the chat, we got Michael in the chat as well, we got Alligator. Hey, Emmy winner, Michael, what are you talking about? Are you talking about this bad boy? Are you talking about this? This little Emmy that I got right here? Yes, that is right. I have finally got my 2022-2023 Sports Emmy for working at the Beijing Olympics. And it is beautiful. And I don't think I'll ever let it out of my sight again. I'm just going to sleep like this. Just going to sleep with it, like right here. It's not the comfiest pillow in the world, but, you know. Yes. Shout out to my little brother, Gavin, who has been holding on to this for me for about, 2 years now. And shout out to my dad and my stepmom, who lugged it all the way over from America and gave it to me in Germany last night. I love this thing. It's just going to be 2 hours of me staring at this Emmy. Is that all right with you guys? Just kidding. Just kidding. Let me put it here. That way I can just look at it the entire stream. All right, who else is in the chat? Who else is in the chat? We've got Michael, we've got Alligator, we've got Mark, we got Will, we got Danko, we got Sparrow, we got Neutrum, we got Michael again, Sparrow. Yes. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everybody. But let's get back to the real business here. It is do or die time in F1 Fantasy. And how are we going to do it, or how are we going to die by it? As you can see on the screen right now, I just had my 3 possible moves, but we'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it goes in the next 2 hours as we get the deadline going here. So my possible moves, I can look at it here, is honestly, I keep forgetting what my possible moves are. But right now, there's this really crazy option where I do the whole Sauber, and some of y'all in the comments last night in my Final Thoughts episode, which is about 12 minutes long, so if you want to go check that out and then hop back in. This is 2 moves. This is 2 moves, and, you know, I'm thinking about it. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri in the team with McLaren and Sauber. It's so crazy that it just might work for me. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the stream so we can get more and more people in here for the final 2 hours of the deadline. Alrighty. All right. Jack is in the chat. What's up, Jack? Best wildcard team with budget of 139.1 million. All right, so I got 142.2. So let's build this together. We are all in this together, High School Musical style. Do you maybe just take Oscar out of, well, no, hold on. Let's not get a little bit crazy. Okay, let's go Max and Lando. Let's barge in Mercedes here. So you're, 3.1 million short. So that's actually not going to work for you there, sir. Then we shove in Nico Hulkenberg, and I need to save you 3 points. So it has to be this. This is 139.1 million right here, Jack. Norris, Verstappen, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, McLaren, Mercedes. Might be the best option. The other maybe kind of switch you could do is bring in George Russell and upgrade. If you upgrade Colapinto to a Behrman, that leaves you more than enough money. That's another option. Or even a Carlos Sainz is another option. Actually, if you go Alonso, That's a good option there. Norris, Russell, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. I think Hadjar, Hulkenberg, and Sainz are the 3 best B-tier drivers this season. And don't forget, if you want to ask a question, you do have to subscribe to the channel, I think for just a minute. I hope I did that correctly. Let's see. Edit. Customization. Oh, okay. I've just changed it to you just have to subscribe for any duration. And then you are there. You can ask a question after one second of subscribing to the YouTube channel. Neutrum, what do you think of the idea that even if Norris goes pole, he will give up P1 under a dive bond, meaning Verstappen plus Piastri is worthwhile? That's a lot of game theory. I think of the last 10 pole sitters, shout out to Formula Fantasy Hub, that the last 10 pole sitters have won this race. Now, how many of those have been fighting for a world championship is a whole other story. I think if Lando's on pole, he's going to want to get to that turn 1 and still win. So I think I don't think I'm going to game theory it too much here, Neutrum, and just kind of go with what the data is telling us. I am a little bit all over the spot here with my thoughts. So I showed you that one option where I bring out Sainz and Red Bull and put in Sauber and Max Verstappen. And honestly, this feels like the most fun option, but it's probably the option that will either like jump me into the top 1K or have me fall outside the top 3K. So that is interesting. I'm not sure. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I do like the double Sauber, and so do the Sims, actually. If we go to the Sims, we can see that Sauber, let me make sure you guys can see this on the side. Yeah, you can see this. Sauber is actually like the 6th highest constructor this week, 20 expected points, with Verstappen at 31, Norris with 29.8, and Piastri at 25.1. So if we do Sainz plus Red Bull, so Red Bull's at 53, and Sainz is at 4.5. So that's 57.5, right? If I bring in Verstappen, 31.2 plus Sauber, 20, that's 51.2 versus what was that? 50, that was 57.5. The thing that I was kind of interested about with the stream, we can look at my T1 squad here. This is what the stream is, or the Sims are suggesting for my squad here. So bring in Mercedes and Behrman as an option, keep Norris and Piastri, or we can bring in Verstappen and Hulkenberg and keep Red Bull. These are all very similar, but one of the options, I think the option I was looking at is the 18th best option. Yeah, bring in here, Hulkenberg and Hadjar. It's the 20th best option, 221.7 points, and just fix my B tier drivers so I can keep Sainz, and then bring in Hadjar and Hulkenberg for Alonso and Gasly, and keep McLaren and Red Bull, Norris and Piastri. I am a little bit skeptical about if we go to FP3 results here. Admittedly, I didn't get to watch as much of FP3 as I would like. I was hanging out with the fam because they are in town. But Yuki Tsunoda all the way in 20th does not inspire confidence. Now, I know he got rammed into by Kimi Antonelli. I was able to watch that much at all. But if you, actually, you know what, guys? Help me out here. If you were watching FP3, let me know some of your observations. Like, what did you guys see in FP3 that kind of like raised your eyebrows? Because that would help me out quite a lot. Alligator says, how are we going to do fantasy? Max, always trust Max. I know. I think I'll keep Merck to diversify, says Francesco. I was thinking about it, but then Russell and Aston look good in FP3. They did. We need a 2x Verstappen Norris poll. Yes, says Michael. Yeah, we'll get to that. You know what? Let's get to that right now. 64 votes. Favorite Tier B driver in Abu Dhabi. Behrman at 66%, Sainz at 19%, Hadjar at 5%, and Hulkenberg at 11%. But let's get the big question out of the way. Good call by you, Michael. Who is the best 2x option? Verstappen, Norris, and we'll go other, which would probably be like what, Russell and Piastri. Who is the best 2x option? There we go. Let's ask that poll. Let me know your thoughts. Let's see here. I'm falling behind in the chat. Matthias, I have 134.2 budget with a final fix chip left. What do we think about Norris, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes? That is a very nice lineup, Matthias. And if you have the final fix option, that means that you can get to Max Verstappen if you need to. If he gets on pole, I would probably final fix him in. Why Sonoda has so many expected points? So these sims are from FP2 data. And I didn't really see a ton from Sonoda yesterday, I think. If we go back, let's look at the FP2 results. Did he show up quite kindly here? I don't know. I guess if he was just starting from the back, they'd think because it is a little bit of a higher overtake track, Dankov, that Sonoda would get some of them, but I don't know. And plus, I think he's got a little bit of inflated odds for driver of the day. I think it's just 0.4% for driver of the day odds, according to the Sims. And then when you look at the breakdown in here, which is actually super useful, DNF odds 7.7% for Verstappen, fastest lap odds 22.3%, driver of the day odds 32.2% for Verstappen. But then driver of the day odds for Norris were only 22.5%, and for Piastri, they were 16.4%. I'm not entirely sure how much I agree with those odds. I mean, F1 Fantasy Tools is fantastic. Like they do bang up work, but I'm wondering if the Sims have maybe overcompensated a little bit. So I kind of noticed this morning, if I change this to 30.5 and then Norris to 30.5, because that just lowers Verstappen 0.7 and raises Norris 0.7, that the Sims do change a little bit, where it's Mercedes and Behrman they want me to bring in, and keep Sainz and then just hope that Alonso looks okay. And Alonso, where was he yesterday? He was 9th in FP2. How did he do in FP3? What did he pop up in 4th? It is at a non-representative time, so we have to think about that a little bit as well. But Russell beating Lando by 4 thousandths of a second. He was on track later than Lando. Not by much, but maybe enough to kind of like mess with it by 4 thousandths of a second. João Gonzalez says, hello there. I have 3 transfers available and a 3X chip. My team is Lando, George Russell, Ollie Behrman, Gasly, Colapinto, plus McLaren and Mercedes. 138.9 million. You can go from Ollie Behrman down to like Nico Hulkenberg, and then boost George Russell up to Oscar Piastri if you want, and then activate the 3X there. But honestly, maybe even moving Ollie Behrman down to like, or Ollie Behrman down to Sainz gives you 2 million. And then also Gasly up to Hadjar and Colapinto up to Hulkenberg. And then you just use the 3X chip with Lando and George, and you keep McLaren Mercedes. I kind of like that. I have autopilot chip. What do you think? Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, 142 budget. Yeah, I would get 2 of those guys in and play the autopilot chip, preferably Norris and Verstappen at Lova. Is it worth dropping Sainz and Hadjar for Behrman and Ocon? Not Ocon, I don't think. I'm not... yeah. But you have to remember the track was changed in 2021, so those stats are not that useful. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Michael. You are correct. Advice, says Xiao. I think I just gave it to you, Xiao. Hopefully that helps. Still have my final fix. Had no balls of playing it this season, says Francesco. I would bring in Lando Norris and make sure that you have enough money, or Max Verstappen or Lando Norris, and then use it on whoever wins pole. Matthias says, I could do Norris, Antonelli, Sainz, Behrman, Colapinto, McLaren, Mercedes with 0.1 budget remaining and use my final fix if anything changes with Lando. Yep, I like that quite a lot. Mayan says, is bringing in Kick in place of Mercedes worth it? If it means I can run a 3A of drivers, Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, along with Alonso and Hadjar. McLaren is the other constructor I have. I'm thinking about that, Mayan, and if you want to risk it for the biscuit, for the chocolate biscuit, then... like Zach GP says, then go for it. I'm thinking about it. Avoid Yuki guy, says Mike. I think I agree. Didn't watch FP3, but the first 2 rules of fantasy are... Where'd they go, Francesco? 2, don't put in Sonoda. And I don't know where number 1 went. But if you say that twice, it's fine. Mercedes came good near the end, at least Russell. Norris, McLaren, and Mercedes, or Verstappen, McLaren, and Mercedes. We'll probably leave it to final fix after quality. Yeah, I think that's fine, Lucas. I was thinking putting Haas as a constructor. Yeah, did I miss something with Ocon? Did he pop up in the times? Oh, FP3. Okay, yeah. I mean, Behrman was saying that it was a phenomenal car to drive yesterday in FP2. So if you believe in it, if you build it, they will come. So I guess if you believe in Haas, go with it. What is your retrospective on the Sims this season? Looking back, do you think they've been a pretty reliable resource? I haven't paid much attention to them, says Sparrow. I'm actually doing a little bit of a deep dive on this, Sparrow, so I'm hoping to have all that data collected and use it in my team selection videos next season. So it's an off-season project I'm working on, Sparrow, that hopefully I will have for you guys for the 2026 season. 136.6 million budget. Want to go for the biggest punt ever? Any advice? Let me see here. If you did this lineup, but let's say you did it without McLaren, and you did something like this. I'm 142, so I think that would be 135. I think that would be 136.5 million there, Josh. So what do you think about that? Kicksauer, Red Bull Racing, Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Verstappen, Gasly. You could even bring in Mercedes instead and improve Alonso or Gasly up to like an Albon, maybe? Like if you're just going full punt status, that is something that you could look at in F1 Fantasy. Real King 52 says, I have a budget of 134 with autopilot. I'm either going to run Verstappen plus Antonelli plus Alonso, Hajar, blah, 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 or Piastri plus Russell plus Alonso. I'm currently 6th in my league in order to win prize. The use of the autopilot chip would probably be better with Piastri plus Russell because that's more likely to flip and flop but Verstappen versus Antonelli, I think, will quite clearly go to Verstappen. And I think Verstappen probably has a higher ceiling. I think steadily, I'd probably go Piastri plus Russell right now. I do agree that there's not enough anti-Norris sentiment. Oh, you think Norris is not it? What is the best 2x option? We've got Verstappen at 55%, Norris at 43%, and other at 2%. So I'm going to say, if you said other, or if you are saying other in the chat, let me know who you would put it on. Hi, what do you think of Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, and Kick? Wow, that is a nice budget. I love that, actually, Adolfo. I love that a lot. My top 5 race prediction, Max, Russell, Ollie, Norris, Piastri. So you think Do is going to win the World Championship, Saran. Albon engine looks shaky. He was nervous about it yesterday, says Michael. Yes, I do remember that. You are welcome, Josh. Let's see. Current team is Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Colapinto, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. Have 3 transfers. I think I'm just going to bring in Hulk for Colapinto. Leave the rest. Is there any way you can get rid of Alonso in that lineup, Alligator? I don't mind it. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering if you did like a Piastri to Russell, could you do Alonso to like Ocon move or something there? Maybe. Why don't you go check that out? I've got to use the Limitless. Who do you think I should use? My thought was Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, Russell, but I don't know if I should put Antonelli or someone else. Also for the teams, McLaren, Mercedes, or Red Bull. I guess it depends on if you're taking a punt or not, Giuseppe. I would definitely go triple McLaren and then Verstappen with double Mercedes with Russell, and then toss up at the end. Like, who could you go with? Antonelli or Leclerc? I'd probably back Antonelli just given the current form of those drivers and in general. Yeah, that's where I would go. Porsche F1 on X has given us their final thoughts. Let's go check them out. A brilliant resource, finished top 3 in the world last year and is now in the top 50 again. So one of the best F1 fantasy managers out there. My final F1 fantasy thoughts of 2025 Abu Dhabi post FP3. Norris versus Verstappen remains very close. Norris has a slight edge in practice, but Red Bull always improves in the race. Still unsure. Piastri versus Russell also tight, but I think Piastri now has about +3 points EV. Haas pace looks real. Wants some exposure. Okay, so he's thinking about Piastri, Verstappen, Alonso, Behrman, Hulkenberg with McLaren, Mercedes, and then Piastri, Norris, Alonso, Ocon, Hadjar with McLaren and Mercedes. My lineup options with Mercedes are a little interesting because I can improve quite a bit here. I could just do Red Bull to Mercedes and Gasly to Behrman to get myself some of that Haas love. But then I don't have any Sauber, and that feels wrong. That feels very, very wrong. Part of my thinking is like Alonso feels like one of those drivers that's not going to get tangled up in like a last race DNF or a scuffle or whatever. But then part of me is also like, yeah, but if the car goes wrong, is a 20-year vet in Fernando Alonso really going to fight to finish the final race of a lost season, or is he just looking to get the first flight out? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not saying that he's a quitter, but you know what I mean? Like that mentality, maybe he just is like, all right, let's just pack it in kind of thing. Whereas some of these rookies, like a Hulkenberg, it's his 250th Grand Prix, he probably wants to finish it a little bit more, but probably not worth the -10. So this is another option that I'm thinking about here as well, though I don't think I have that on the cards. We are 4 subscribers away from 4,100 subscribers, guys. So if you're watching, without just hit the subscribe button, come ask a question, and we'll get over the 4,100 mark. And if you're watching and you're already a subscriber, go pick up your sibling's phone or your parents' phone. It's like that Saturday afternoon golf nap time here in Europe. Just give it a quick subscribe. 4 more subscribers to 4,100. That would be a great goal to end the season. JLP88 says, hello, McLaren, Racing Bulls, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Gasly, Alonso. 2 changes and 40 points behind top budget, 134. Would you make any changes? I would get Gasly and Alonso out of there if I could. But how? I hear you ask. You'd probably have to do like a Verstappen down to Piastri and then go... If you go Gasly to maybe just bring in double Sauber there. JLP88, Gasly and Alonso out for Bortoletto and Hulkenberg. Real King 52 says, which team sounds better? And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find your chat. Real King 52. Can I find it? I cannot find it unless you asked earlier. You're going to have to ask again. Sorry. Bortz versus Hulk. Hulk has Q3 finishes and also Behrman plus McLaren versus Kimi plus Merck. Behrman plus McLaren for sure. Let me go grab this right here. Okay. Whew. It's getting a little cold in Germany now. Okay, I need some of this. What sounds very cool, Michael? I already missed it. I'm sorry. Let's see. Mercedes constructor, if Antonelli gets a grid penalty, can it be a grid penalty? I don't know. I mean, it's like an unsafe release in practice. Whoa, crushed it over the 4,100 mark. You guys went and grabbed all your siblings' phones. You guys are awesome. Only just joined says, do we think Piastri is a better choice than Russell? I mean, I think bang for your buck, it'll be Russell. I think it's going to be pretty close, but Piastri came back in FP3 a little bit. He did set his time a little bit earlier than Norris, Verstappen, and Russell. Maybe like 1 lap earlier. So I think Lando is clear of Piastri right now, but we've seen this plenty of times before in the early part of the season where Lando looked on it in FP1, FP2, FP3, and then Oscar kind of came not out of nowhere, but like he showed up when the lights were brightest in qualifying. So that's something we have to think about as well. And that's another reason I'm kind of thinking about just keeping this triple McLaren in my team. Like it's not bad at all. Sorry, Michael. If Antonelli gets a grip penalty, can it be a grip penalty? I guess we'll wait and see. If someone can keep an eye on X for us, I guess I could just go check it out, just make sure, but I don't know. Fastest sectors. Norris is so fast in that final sector, by the way. Like I watched his quick run in FP3 and oh my goodness, he was down like 0.06 of a second to Piastri and then he smoked him by about 3 tenths of a second. So yeah, let's see. Russell looking pretty good in the middle sector though, and pretty good in the final sector. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, let's see. What else have we got here? Telemetry data, Russell, Norris, Verstappen. What else have we got? Sector 1, it's Russell. Sector... More stuff here. Toto not that optimistic about race pace in his Sky interview, says Pop Pan Man. So we go Mercedes, but not Russell. Norris, Verstappen, and Piastri should be clear. Yeah, Team 1, I am likely just keeping triple McLaren and Mercedes constructor. Definitely looks solid, says F1 Fantasy Fuel. I think I might prefer Verstappen over Norris, though, because Verstappen has to go for it. Norris plays safe because of the championship. Expecting Verstappen to lead after lap 1 if you qualify. Good straight line speed. Yeah. I think it is... Let's see. Russell beats is the only driver to record 18 plus. He's done it twice. Let's see. We got anything? I haven't seen anything about this grid penalty, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But we'll keep an eye on it. If anyone else can keep an eye on it as well, that'd be great. Francesco, for the 2X, if you'd like Max to win, put it on Norris and vice versa so that you're happy nevertheless. Yeah, you're welcome. Great call, Francesco. If only having a choice of one between Lando, Oscar, and Max, yet we consider I can make a final swap after quali, what do I do? I would go Lando. I think he looks the best in qualifying, and then if he bottles it, then you can go to any of the other drivers. Northern Ryan. Currently, I have Norris, Russell, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes with 137.7, 3 transfers, and autopilot. Want to have both Norris and Verstappen, but would have to swap McLaren for Red Bull. What do you think? I think it's going to be tight, but you have exposure to Yuki Tsunoda, and that makes me nervous this race. It could just be like a sad ending to Yuki Tsunoda's career. Like, would it be that surprising to see him like get involved in a turn 1 incident when he's trying to like prove that he can still hang on the grid? Like, I don't know. I really wouldn't put a lot of weight into it being Yuki's last race when it comes to driver of the day odds. Darren says, I'm about 100 points away from being first in my private league, so I need your help on a Hail Mary team. My budget is 134.5 million. So I'm at 142.2. So what are we looking at here? Well, what we want to look at is probably a little bit of the elite data here, Darren, just to kind of give us some differentials. So Ocon's a good differential. Hulkenberg's a good differential. Behrman's at 9%. I expect him to be quite popular, actually. But if we brought in Mercedes and McLaren, let's give you a steady base here, along with Lando and George. That's 134.5. And then maybe Hulkenberg. You're killing me, F1 Fantasy. Come on, man. Let's go back here. Building it again. Russell. And then Hulkenberg. How close does that get us? That's 6.3. That's going to be, that's 158 or 135.8-ish or 0.9. So 135.9. So you're 1.4 away from that. So this would probably have to go down to an Ocon. No, that's exactly the same price as Carlos Sainz. So then just maybe double Sauber. Double Sauber, or that's kind of close, but it might need to be double Sauber for you, Darren. I'd put it on Piastri, says Henry. Who is the best 2X option? Verstappen 55%, Norris 42%, other 3%. Okay, let's see here. Next, I'm going to end this poll. And who is more likely to end up on the podium? Because I think this will help us kind of decide who we want to kind of go with as our second option. We're just going to run through a bunch of polls. Like, we're only 30 minutes into the stream, and we're just going to keep running through all these polls. So if you have any polls that you'd like me to put on here, let's get into it. Pop Pan Man just said that Toto is not optimistic about Mercedes' pace, says Michael. Yes. I must be a little bit behind. Sorry, Michael. All right, let's see here. What are your thoughts on having Piastri, Norris, and Max with autopilot versus generally McLaren plus Red Bull plus Max? I kind of like that autopilot option. We're thinking 2x on Russell for the chocolate biscuit. Ooh, Modest Cowboy, who is like top 3 in the world and has a shot to win the whole kablooey. Let's go public leads. Public leagues. Where are you at, Modest Cowboy Racing? There you are, sir. Modest Cowboy Racing, but they are in 3rd in the world because the first 3, T3, T2, or T3, T3, T2. So these ones here, 4th, 5th, and 6th, are actually the ones in position to win. So they're 5 points behind. Modest Cowboy Racing, you're 5 points behind Gavin D'Souza. And let's see here. So you've got Verstappen, Russell, Alonso, Gasly, Sainz, Red Bull, and McLaren. They've got Red Bull and McLaren with Verstappen, Piastri, Bortoleto, Alonso, and Colapinto. So y'all's teams are pretty different already. I don't think Russell has any chance at those 20 extra bonus points, though, Modest Cowboys. So I think that would dampen it a little bit. I don't think if he wins, he would get driver of the day, to be honest. Like, I still think it would go to the world champ. So I think the only option, like, I still believe that whoever wins the World Driver Championship is going to get driver of the day. However, if it was going to be someone wins the race, but they don't win the World Driver Championship, it would have to be Verstappen or Piastri. I don't think it's going to go to Russell. Like, I still think the public sentiment would probably go to Norris or Verstappen or Piastri if that happened, where Russell won the race. Jay says, hey, I now have Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes. I'm 320 global and don't want to go out in the top 500. Then you're in a very good spot with that lineup. Maybe Alonso. If you go Ocon to Hadjar, then you kind of build yourself in a little bit more of this buffer here, Jay. So it's not bad if you just want to protect the top 500 league. Like, I would use this elite data, which you are part of at 320, and just kind of use that as a platform to guard yourself. I don't think you'd, like, with Verstappen, Piastri, I think you're fine. There's 64.8% for Verstappen, 81% for Piastri. I think Piastri will go down quite a bit. I would expect Norris to kind of fly up a little bit here, and it will make Piastri a little bit of a differential. But I think keeping Verstappen is fine. Dankov says, I want to switch from Piastri, Tsunoda, and Gasly to Verstappen, Behrman, and somebody from Hadjar, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, but I have to do a -10 to do Gasly out. Worth doing it this week. Gasly wasn't looking good. Yeah, but if he's just like trundling around at the back, he's probably not going to get negative points either, Dankov. So maybe it won't be worth the -10. Rebecca says, just popping in for an early wave, heading out to drink, so locking in early. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, Rebecca. I'm sitting comfortably in second in my league, nothing to lose or gain. I'm thinking of running Oscar 2X and George plus McLaren Mercedes, says Henry. Then that'll be a very comfortable watch for you tomorrow afternoon. Best wildcard team for 134.3 budget, asks Jack. I mean, honestly, I would just go onto the team calculator here on f1fantasytools.com, and I think you can build a manual team. I don't know what the budget would be. Let's see here. Let's say I have 134.2 million in budget. What would that be? Oh, that's not right. Yeah, save. Okay, that's not working. Refresh. But build your team around 2 strong constructors and Lando Norris and maybe Kimi Antonelli, Jack. Or George Russell. Modest Cowboy, golf naps are the best, but Alonso loves the record and adding another finish to keep racking up total number of races record. That's a good point, Ali. Your comps with Sims next year. Oh, yes. I think that is going to be hopefully useful. Do I go -10 points to take out Hadjar and Alonso for Sainz and Colapinto? No, I would not. Really intrigued by the kick option you put out earlier. Might just go for it, says Charbro. Yeah, there you go. Alan, hi, I've been watching all season. My first year playing fantasy, and I have a chance to win my league today. Current team, Piastri, Russell, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso with McLaren, Mercedes, 134.5 budget with 2 transfers. That's a really strong squad you've got there right now, Alan. I would, if I'm thinking about anything slightly different, if you have any extra money, I'd love to get Alonso up to Hulkenberg. I think that would be a pretty solid option. Evan11 says, I'm up 65 points on my lead. Me and my opponent both have triple McLaren plus Mercedes. Should I keep Norris, Piastri, and just swap B tier? Would swap Gasly and Sainz to Behrman, Alonso, or swap Norris to Verstappen and Gasly to Hadjar? I kind of like that first option, just Gasly and Sainz to Behrman and Alonso. Have 126.7 million with 2 changes available. Thinking Norris, Behrman, Lawson, Hadjar, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. Would be taking a minus 10 to switch Colapinto to Hadjar and leave 2 million remaining. Worth it? Colapinto to Hadjar would probably be worth a negative 10 in my opinion. Could you try building me a team for 134.5 million, asked Matthias. Okay, since you and Jack have both asked, I will try to do that. I think what I would probably do is Piastri and Red Bull to Mercedes and Russell. That gets you to 137.4. I'd probably bring out Gasly for Hulkenberg. That's 6.3, so that's 135.9. So you still need to save 1.4 million from, where is Sainz? What's he at? He's 7.7. So then maybe just bring in Bortoleto, and that saves you enough money right there. Norris, Russell, Alonso, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg with McLaren and Mercedes. Hiya Ewan says, Sammy, just watched England get pumped. Shake my head. What should I do with Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Mercedes team? 0 cash left over with final fix to be played. Well, you have the money to go from Norris to Verstappen. If Verstappen has to go, if Verstappen takes pole, so that's not a problem there for you. You might just be burning those transfers, mate. Like, I don't think there's any way to kind of improve the squad without taking Piastri out. I mean, you could do Piastri to Russell, which saves you, what does that actually save you? I should know this off the top of my head. 1.4 million, and then you could improve Colapinto to Bortoleto. But is that really worth it? Piastri to Russell and Colapinto to Bortoleto? Maybe not. Sparrow886 says, I have to go. Thanks for a great last deadline stream. You are welcome, Sparrow. Thank you for hanging around the entire season. It's very difficult for Piastri to end up on podium. He either has to win or Lando can't be under third. In other cases, he will just give the podium to Norris, or if Norris defends a dive bomb. Interesting thoughts, Saran. Piastri, Antonelli, Alonso, Hadjar, Lawson, McLaren, Mercedes, or Piastri, Antonelli, blah, 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 blah. I don't like the Colapinto option, or it'd be worth trying to drop Piastri, Antonelli for Max or Lando with B tier. No, I think I like the first option there, Nick. Yeah, side note before I go, thoughts on the Stewards this race 2021 gang reunite. Yeah, that is mighty interesting. I guess we'll see how it goes. Hi, I have 3X. Would you use it with Max or McLaren driver? I would probably... Oh, it's too soon because Max, I think if you're chasing, I'd go Max. If you're protecting, I'd go Lando. Thank you for the excellent content all season, says SM0010. You are very welcome, friend. Can get Norris and Verstappen in one team, but need to use both Alpine. What do you think? I think the ceiling outweighs the floor there, so I think I'd go with it, Marcel. Gasly or Hulk? Hulk for me, Jabbles. You're welcome, Sammy. I'm third. Would you risk getting rid of McLaren? First two surely have McLaren to bring in Williams and have the budget to go for Max Piastri. I have the 3X. I would probably try to find a different way to be differential, Marino. I'd probably try to find a different way to get around that, to be honest. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Gonzalo says he's got that team. That looks very nice. Very jealous of that team. Also, is Arsenal losing yet to Aston Villa? I can't remember what I put in my FPL team. Saka blank, please. Not happening, is it? Maybe not. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Nico or Bortoleto? I like Nico. I like Nico myself. That is what I will be going with. Alrighty. So still no analysis chat yet. Seems like a good time to go into the F1 predict and just kind of update our predictions after this whole nonsense. I'm going to change this. How do I change this? I'm going to X, I'm going to X, I'm going to X. I'm going to get a Lando Russell Verstappen. There we go. I'm going to give that to Mr. Lando Norris, not to you, Max Verstappen. Lando looks pretty strong here. Who will qualify the highest? I'm still going to go with Nico. How many teams will get a car into Q3? Let's go 8. Let's just cause some chaos here. Who will set the fastest lap time of the race? It'll probably be Verstappen just to mess up F1 fantasy a little bit. Who will set the fastest pit stop of the race? Probably Verstappen as he goes for the fastest lap to YOLO it. Will the safety car or VSC be required during the Grand Prix? I'm going to say yes. Who will finish ahead in the race? Kimi Antonelli, yes. Which team will finish as runner-up in the team standings? I will go with Mercedes because that seems very easy. And will we see a new driver's champion? Yes, we will. Okay, back home. And that was your segment for F1 Predict. Alrighty, Lando and Oscar and Red Bull and Mercedes. Limited budget to have McLaren as constructor. I don't hate it, but it's a little bit risky not having McLaren in there. Could you go Oscar? Could you get McLaren in if you go Oscar to Russell? I'd probably like that. Do you think it would be worth it to downgrade McLaren to Red Bull to afford Norris Verstappen? That's a lot of points you're leaving on the board there, Captain Frogman. So I'm not sure I'd go there. I'm not sure I'm willing to take that much of a risk. I'm first by 20 points, can afford one of Piastri and Russell and one of Max or Lando. What do I do? I think I would probably go Max, Russell, or Lando and Piastri. I think those would be my pairings there, Kevin. What about Norris, Russell, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes to Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, Behrman, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, kick with autopilot? Go for it, Northern Ryan. I like that quite a bit. Why has Piastri become the most owned driver in Elite Data, Patron 500, and Global 500? Because he was picked last week, and those drivers, the managers that picked him, have now flown into the top 500. So like, this isn't like, this is what the top 500 is doing this week. It's just this in the top 500 right now, these managers have Piastri. And he looked so strong in Qatar and he won on pole and should have won Sunday's race, that those managers that had Piastri with his, 46 points or whatever, absolutely flew up the global leaderboards. And now they're in the top 500. Hi, I'm third and 36 points ahead. Is it worth to get negative 20 to get Norris and McLaren and Haas? I have Max. Also have a 3x to play. What do you suggest? As someone that took a negative 20 last week and it did not work out, I would err on the side of caution of taking a negative 20 because that is quite a lot of points to make up, which is quite unfortunate. So I don't think I'd take a negative 20. Yeah, I think I would just stick with Max. Megan, McLaren, Aston, Norris, Hadjar, Sainz, Piastri, Sonoda, 1.3 in back and 2 transfers. Any ideas? Sonoda down to Behrman, and then can you get Aston up to like Racing Bulls or something like that? Maybe that would help. McLaren have been sandbagging. I expect both on first row. They've been sandbagging and they've just been absolutely crushing all the times. That would be interesting. Do you think Sauber is good enough option to get Max Norris duo with autopilot? If I had the autopilot chip remaining in my back pocket with my T1 squad, I would like 100% be going with this little spicy concoction that I came up with yesterday. Like if I had autopilot, I would do this because having Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen like guarantees you the best 3x or 2x driver. So I think that's okay for you, Gorkum, as well. I think that is perfectly okay. What beer tier constructor is the best this week in your opinion? I love Sauber this week. I'm genuinely thinking about that crazy option right there, saying, am I right in saying that budget obviously doesn't matter this weekend? You are correct, James. We don't care at all about budget. Budget is right out the window. It will not carry over to next week or next season. We will all start with the same amount of budget. I was going to say 100 million, but you never know with F1 Fantasy. It likes to switch the game up every year, so we'll see how it goes. Sino8630 says, I'm only 127.7 million with Lando, McLaren, and Mercedes. Can't get to Antonelli unless -20, but I could get both Haas, Alonso, and Gasly out, accompanied by Lawson and Sainz, or Lawson out, Alonso in. What do you think? I like the both Haas option there, Sino. McLaren front row, possibly surprise Piastri pull. He got lower pressure on him than Max/Norris based on World Drivers' Championship, says Alexander. If it was a McLaren front row, that would be happy, happy days. Keep Sainz or swap in Ocon/Hadjar. Can't afford Behrman with my Verstappen Piastri pairing. Don't think the downgrade to Russell is worth it for Behrman. Well, it depends if you're chasing Alligator, because Ocon is in 6% of the top 500. And Hadjar is in 51%, and Sainz is in 71.2. And I know it's the global top 500, but it is obviously engaged managers, which you guys are because you're watching a deadline stream for F1 Fantasy at 1:45 Germany time and whatever time it is in the world for you. So I think this is a good representative of what we've got here. Like, there are no dead teams inside the top 500, right? Sainz looks... I didn't see how Williams did in FP3. P12, but how did they do in FP2 yesterday? Carlos Sainz P13. So maybe I would go Sainz to Hadjar. Maybe Ocon. Just take the punt. Moved from 773 to 125 globally, 3xing Piastri last week. Max 2x. Lord William the first. Oh, nice. Great job by you, William. Verstappen Piastri to Verstappen Norris for -10. That is probably going to pay off. Yes, 1800 JF. Yes. Best A-tier driver combo if I can't afford both Norris and Verstappen. I mean, Norris and Verstappen, or Norris/Verstappen with Piastri would probably be my favorite. And if you can't do that, I'd go Norris/Verstappen with Russell. I'm leading my league by 100 points, and I'm in the global 100s, says Alligator. Ooh. I'd probably want to keep that global 500 or top 100, Alligator. So great job by you, first of all. That's fantastic. I mean, you're probably not going to win it, unfortunately. So maybe Ocon isn't the right option. Maybe I'd go Hadjar. Hadjar's looking strong. 7th in FP2. What was he in FP3? Okay, 16th in FP3, so not entirely sure if anybody saw anything in FP3 that would maybe cause Hadjar to go down there a little bit. Let's see here. Any more? We've got any more options? I don't see any more sims yet. Let's go back to Twitter. Matt and Tommy's qualifying prediction, Norris, Piastri. Look at Tommy just reverse jinxing Max Verstappen out of the top 5. So Lewis Hamilton crashes out at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I think he's got to be fine. They said on F1 TV that he should be fine. Oof. Yeah, that's a little bit of a crash. Let's see. Wow, F2 isn't F2. We don't have a car flying through there. Jeez Louise. Fastest sectors in Abu Dhabi. Okay, we've been through all this. Okay, so no one is posting their teams yet, which I can respect. Oh, great job by you. Great job by you, Beth. I don't know why I put an extra comment in there, but, you know, it is what it is. Alrighty. Here we go. Keep going. Why is Piastri a favorite if he's been off it again this week? I don't know. I think it's just that McLaren and Piastri still grows throughout the weekend. So I don't hate keeping with Piastri one more week. And for me personally, if I want to get out of Piastri, like the only way is to really go down to Russell, who looks fine. Like, I'm not saying Russell is a bad option at all, But then I'm kind of limited because I almost wonder, what was that Pop Pan Man was saying? Because Russell was talking about their long run data yesterday wasn't good. Toto not optimistic about the race pace in his Sky interview. But also maybe just keeping this Racing Bulls and McLaren differential is fine, and I just swap around the B tier drivers. Let's see. Alex says, would getting a -10 worth it to have Norris, McLaren, and Haas for constructors? I have Max and a 3X. I'm third in my league. Fourth is only 36 points behind. Yeah, that will probably work out for you there, Alex. Norris, Max, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Alonso, McLaren, Sauber with autopilot and 2.2 in the bank. Do you think this is a good team? Yes, because Norris and Max will probably, like, it doesn't really matter. That you will have probably the best driver as your 2X after that. Hi, I cannot afford Verstappen, Norris, and I want to keep Mercedes, McLaren. What is better, Verstappen, Piastri, or Verstappen, Russell? Whew, that is tight. If going down to Russell helps you improve like a B tier driver a little bit, Helifco, I'd go down to the Verstappen route. Thanks, says Sino. You are welcome. Early in the stream, you had an Emmy for working at Beijing Olympics. I am relatively new to the channel. What did I miss here? You missed this bad boy. Boom. Boom. Yeah. My dad and stepmom brought it over for me. They are in town this weekend. And yeah, won an Emmy in 2023 for working on the Beijing Olympics. Just gotta keep giving it a kiss. You coming up? One last time? Oscar. I thought the Meow Machine was going to make one final appearance. Haha, true. Thinking Hadjar as well, but for B tier, I'm not mad at a current combo of Sainz, Hulkenberg, Alonso. Sainz on a bit of a roll. If I go to Hadjar, it'd be Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Borla. I like that a lot. Alligator. Good afternoon, Ewan. Haven't seen any practice due to work. I have triple McLaren and Mercedes. Had no Max last week. Who is looking good this weekend? I believe that is a pretty nice lineup. Triple McLaren and Mercedes. I don't mind that at all. Norris, Antonelli, or Piastri, Russell? Piastri, Russell for me. Mama, we made it. Boom. Me and the guy first in my league have the exact same team. McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Norris, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly. I have 143.4, which is 1 point more. We are separated by 7 points, and he has final 6. Thoughts? I wouldn't overthink it too much, but I'd like to get out of I'd maybe go Alonso. I'd get Alonso and Gasly out for double Sauber, to be honest. Or maybe Alonso to Hulkenberg. And then, yeah, so you got 1 point. What did you say? You have 1 point. Okay, so yeah, maybe Alonso to Hulkenberg and Gasly. Can you get Gasly to Hadjar? That would work. Sahil says, triple Mercedes, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Alonso, McLaren. It's spicy, and it's not bad at all. Hulkenberg, Aston, or Alonso/Kick to cover both bases. Probably Alonso/Kick, because then you don't have to rely on Lance Stroll at all, Cherubrook. But I'd maybe like a little bit more McLaren coverage in there, Sahil. James says, I have Norris, Verstappen, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, Aston. Should I go Norris, Verstappen, Antonelli, Alonso, Lawson, McLaren, Kick? I have final fix left and would have enough budget to go from Antonelli to Russell and or Alonso or Lawson to Sonoda or below. I'd like the option of going from Antonelli to Russell. Yeah, that's not bad. And you got McLaren and Kick. I heard Max was complaining his car was bouncing again and Piastri missed FP1. Well, Piastri missed FP1 because it was a rookie allocation thing, so Pat O'Ward was in the car for Oscar and FP1, which was decided months ago. It was not a conspiracy by McLaren to make Oscar miss FP1. Yes, they probably should have planned it better when they realized that both of their drivers were going to be fighting for the World Drivers' Championship, but it's McLaren. What are you going to do? Bowie says, from McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Behrman, Gasly, Lawson to McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Norris, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Lawson, both are -10. I think I like the upside of Sainz. I think he is pretty spicy this weekend. I think he wants to chase down Albon. Oops. for that P8 in the Drivers' Constructor or World Drivers' Championship. And I think it would be quite nice for him to be like, oh yeah, I beat my teammate in the first season. So not bad at all. Let's see. We got any... I'm not sure. Let's see here. Okay. Let's look at my options for my team because we are almost 1 hour until the deadline. Removed Russell Aston to get into Antonelli Haas. I think that's kind of a wash. Haas do look good. I mean, Ollie Behrman saying that the car is spectacular. He has no idea how it's so good is pretty encouraging. But Russell has the ceiling, I think, that Antonelli doesn't this weekend. SM0010, Alonso or Lawson out for -10 to whom? Doing Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Sauber, McLaren, autopilot, or leave as is? I would probably just leave it as is. I don't think you need to take a -10 if you can get into that Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Sauber, McLaren autopilot lineup for free. I think you've already made your big move. I don't think you need to cost yourself any more points there, SM0010. I like that the live chats are back, the little pop-up chats. That's really nice. There's 170 of y'all watching. Are you serious? Holy moly. I hope there's a lot of likes then. 40 likes? Let's get that number up. Come on, y'all. Come on. It's the final. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the season of giving. Give me a little bit of a thumbs up. Let's go. That's all I need. Let's get 100 likes on this stream. Come on. We got 160 people watching. Even so, 60 of y'all hate this. You're just hate watching me right now on a Saturday afternoon. I don't think so. I think you kind of like me. So if I got that right, hit that thumbs up button. You don't even have to subscribe, but if you want to ask a question, you do have to subscribe. Oh, let's go. Let's go. I want to see those likes ticking up. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Higher, higher, higher. What are we playing? Wheel of Fortune here. Alrighty. Alonso or Hulk? Hulkenberg. Last sims are out. Burp, 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 burp. Here we go. Ben odds. FP3 sims are out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh, sims out, says Alligator. Limitless team, triple McLaren, double Mercedes, Verstappen, and then Leclerc Antonelli. W stream. Sims. All right, we're going to go check these sims out, everybody. We're going to go check these sims out. I can't get both Verstappen and Norris in my team because 134.2 budget. What is better play in your opinion? Norris, Russell, or Verstappen, Piastri? I think my gut reaction is Norris, Russell there. Russell, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Gasly, Albon versus Russell, Behrman, Alonso, Gasly, Sainz. The second option for me, Johan. James says, thanks, man, and thanks for another year of fans. I'm one of my favorite best in the top 25. No doubt for starting watching yourself this out. I appreciate that, James. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great season. Top 25K, great job by you. 100 Joker says, I have triple McLaren, Mercedes, Alonso, Hadjar, Gasly, and 1.4 million in the bank. I'm 50 points ahead of our mini league 2-place manager, and he has final fix. What should I do? I'd probably get Alonso out for Hulkenberg, and you can probably call it a day. All right, we're going to go check these sims out. FP3, Verstappen 32.7, Norris 31.2, Piastri 25.9. Russell's gone down a little bit here, 22.3. Antonelli, Hamilton's gone down. Behrman's gone up. Hulkenberg's gone up. Ocon's gone up. Sainz has gone down. Bortoletto's gone down. Mercedes, quite a bit or a couple of points ahead of Red Bull now. And you don't have to trust Yuki Tsunoda, which is very nice. Kick Sauber's gone up a little bit. All right, let's see what we say here. Let's see what we see. Is that what I'm saying? Behrman and Hulkenberg for Piastri or for Gasly and Sainz. That's pretty nice. I got a little bit of Aston Martin. I got a little bit of Sauber. I got a little bit of Haas. And I keep triple McLaren. And I get a little bit of Max Verstappen. No Mercedes. A little shaky there. But if I bring in Mercedes, I can just get Behrman for Gasly, which does feel pretty good. Huh. I think I'm going to stick with triple McLaren. All right, we're going to ask this question. Who is most likely to end up on the podium? Russell, 52%, Piastri, 48%, 190 votes, y'all. Y'all are absolutely crushing it on this stream right now. Norris wins with 52%. All right, we're going to ask this question, and this is actually going to help me decide my lineup. Better tier A constructor. Let's see what the public think. Red Bull and Mercedes. Boom. Let me know, people. Let me know what you think. Final fix is going to save me this weekend. I have Norris, Antonelli, Sainz, Behrman, Colapinto, McLaren, Mercedes. Yes, it is, Matthias, because then you can just go to doot. Max Verstappen. Behrman, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, or Behrman, Hulkenberg, Sainz, or Behrman, Alonso, Hadjar. I like Behrman, Hulkenberg, Sainz, 1800 JF. I have Norris and Piastri in a budget of 140 million. The person in front of me has Verstappen and Russell in a budget of 135.5. He's 7 points ahead of me. Would it be worth -10 for me to go Piastri to Verstappen? But then you're going to be 17 points behind, and I don't think the difference from Piastri to Verstappen is going to be 17 points. Unless you 2x max, then I guess it would be about 14 points, according to the Sims. But yeah. Okay, this is about to go under an hour, so because of my craziness, I'm going to have to slightly edit this. There we go. How does that look? I still got a little bit of that stupid. There we go. That's going to do it. Boom. I love it. There we go. Let's fix this. Get it in the center. Boo, 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 boo. Just talking to myself in front of 200 people on YouTube. Fixing the time. Okay, back. All right, that's good. That looks nice. As we count down the final hour of the F1 Fantasy 2025 season. I can't believe it's finally here. Y'all have been absolutely incredible this season. Like I said with the message above my head, thank you for an incredible 2025 and on to bigger and better things in 2026. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's get into it. Sims confirmed team I already had. Yeah, let's go Max. All right, Alligator. I like it. I have Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, Sainz, and Mercedes/Racing Bulls. 120 million budget. What changes should I do? I really like that team, Wilma. I don't think there's a lot that you should do. You could maybe go down to Sauber and improve Alonso to like a Behrman, Racing Bulls to Sauber and Alonso to Behrman. Maybe that's something you can think of. Joachim says, I think Norris, Piastri, Hadjar, Sainz, Alonso plus McLaren, Mercedes. Thinking Piastri to Verstappen and Sainz to Hadjar, Sauber duo. Thoughts? I like that quite a lot. Would you do Norris, Verstappen, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, McLaren, Mercedes? Yes. We think Hulkenberg is going to outdo Alonso this weekend then? I think so. He's been kind of showing it all weekend long. Like Aston Martin kind of came out of nowhere at the end here, but Hulkenberg has consistently been quite strong. I mean, FP3 is just like not very representative, and Aston Martin have kind of done this before and then they just fall away. So I'm going to trust Hulkenberg. He looked really good yesterday. Norris, Antonelli, Sainz plus Hadjar, Alonso, or Behrman, Colapinto? For the ceiling, probably Behrman, Colapinto, but if you're protecting, probably Alonso, Hadjar. Extra DRS chip or 3X chip? I think those are the same thing, Alex. So let me know if you meant limitless. How does Driver of the Day work on last day? Will Norris get if he finishes P3 a win championship? I think whoever wins the World Drivers' Championship is going to get the Driver of the Day award. The only person that may bend that out of shape is if Lando gets third and Max wins, but Lando wins the World Driver Championship, I could see Verstappen getting Driver of the Day. Russell, Piastri, Colapinto, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes works very nicely. And 2x on who? Piastri or Russell? Probably Piastri. Autopilot, Verstappen, Norris, -10, or final fix, Norris, Piastri to Verstappen, Piastri. I kind of like the opportunity. I kind of like the autopilot with a -10, actually. I think that will work out for you there, 1800 JF. Piastri to Verstappen is a move I've already decided on. Otherwise, from my 3B tier thinking, Gasly to Hulkenberg. However, Guy first in my league could afford same. He can't afford. Am I worrying too much about that? Just race your own race there, Mr. Zakacha. Don't worry about it too much. You can maybe like try to take a little differential, but I wouldn't overthink your A tier drivers too much. It'll cost me a -10, though it says to Hill. It should cover it off. Praneeth, would it be better to go for differential and pick 2 tier A drivers and 1 tier A constructor, or play it safe and go tier A constructors and 1 tier A if drivers can only afford Piastri, Russell? It depends, Praneeth. If you are chasing, I would go with the riskier play. If you're protecting, I would go with the safer play. Mac Attack says, "G'day. What team are you thinking of?" This kind of popped up in The Sims, and I actually quite like it because I get a little bit of everything that I want. Here, if I go with this, it gives me a little sprinkle of everything I want in life. I want a little bit of Sauber, a little bit of Haas. Alonso looks okay. Triple McLaren looks fine, and a little bit of Max Verstappen there. It's not the full-blown Max Verstappen, but this is actually quite a nice team for me, Mac Attack. But this other option down here, Mercedes and Behrman, is also nice. And I get Sainz and Alonso as well. But Behrman looks pretty strong here. So I'm gonna see what is up. Analyst simulations are up as of 155. Verstappen plus Piastri plus autopilot seems like the right call for the stats team. Verstappen plus Norris plus autopilot minus 10 doesn't score high enough. Autopilot is an underexplored chip as the Sims might suppress some of the peakiness. Definitely on the to-do list for 2026. Enjoy the last race of the season. Ryder's stats team is going to be McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Verstappen, Alonso, Behrman, Hulkenberg plus autopilot. Great job by him. Shout out to Ryder for carrying the F1 fantasy community the entire season as per usual. All right, whoops, I meant 3x chip or wildcard chip. 3x chip, you're probably going to score more with that, Alex. Do I go insane and go Sauber with triple McLaren and Max for autopilot, or just take Norris Verstappen? Depends. How far ahead are you in your mini league, or how far behind are you in your mini league? Because if you're protecting, I probably wouldn't, but if you're chasing, YOLO, go for it. Also, hey, you, and thanks for all the content this year. You are very welcome, Flame. Thank you for always being around. I really appreciate it. It has been fantastic growing this community of F1 Fantasy, and I'm just a small part of it. You've got Formula Fantasy Hub, Rob, you got Rain Fantasy, you got Adam, Zach, and Terry over at Fanamp Fantasy. You've got Pop Pan Man Tom. You've got F1 Fantasy Fuel. You got F1 Fantasy Tips. Mr. F1 Fantasy. You've got everyone, all of y'all, for commenting on all my posts and all my videos. Who else am I for? You got Luke, F1 Fantasy. Go follow him. He's an up-and-coming content creator. He's done about 40 videos this season, so great job by Luke. And yeah, just in general, give yourself a pat in the back for making it through a 24-race F1 Fantasy season, because you guys are absolutely crushing it. Matthias, what do you think about hold Norris, Antonelli, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes, plus either Behrman, Colapinto, or Hadjar, plus Hulkenberg or Alonso? Behrman, Hadjar, and Alonso. That's what I would do. Thanks a lot, Ewan, and thanks for the great advice this season. You're welcome, Praneeth. Hopefully that helps. Fingers crossed for you for the final race. What's better, Norris or McLaren in the team? If I had to choose, I'm struggling to pick. Probably McLaren. If you go McLaren plus Max, then that's fine. I had Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. I have budget constraints. I managed to use wildcard to have Verstappen, Russell, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, Alonso, McLaren, and Mercedes. What are your thoughts on how does it check out in the sim? I actually really like that second team, Kumbuk, so I would just go with that. I can go Verstappen, Norris, Hadjar, Antonelli, Alonso, McLaren, kick with autopilot. I'm ahead of my league and I'm not impressed by Mercedes. Then keep that. Keep that squad, Captain Frogman. Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. -10 to go from Piastri to Russell, currently number 1 in my league. Probably not, based on these reports that Pop Pan Man has kind of brought to light here. Toto not that optimistic about race pace in his Sky interview. And George Russell also said that in his interview after FP2 yesterday as well. So we have to think about this. What else have we got? Let's see. All locked for the final one. Let's see what this team does. We got Coffee Corner Motorsport. We got Mr. Max Verstappen with Lando Norris, Ollie Behrman, McLaren, Haas, Alonso, Hadjar. Nice. I like it, Terry. Great job by you. Rain's got his final tier list. He's got Behrman in the S tier. Nice. Love a good Rain fantasy screenshot. Leapsfrog, the defending champion who will be giving up his crown, has not had a very good year, unfortunately. But I love his thought process in F1 Fantasy. So go give at Leapsfrog24 a follow on X if you want to become a smarter F1 fantasy player. The team is locked in for the final Grand Prix of the season. Norris will be the 2X again. Piastri joins the team with Bortoleto, Tsunoda, and Antonelli, who crashed into each other in free practice, who crashed into each other in FP3, are both out. So he's got triple McLaren, double Haas, or double Sauber, single Haas, and Mercedes. Very interesting from the defending champ. What would you use wildcard to save 10 points or keep final fix? I'm 100 points ahead of my league with McLaren, Mercedes, Max, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Behrman. I think final fix would be more powerful chip for you right now and probably more fun because you have a 100-point lead. I have Bortoleto in 2.3 million. Having Hulk would cost me -10. Should I keep Bortoleto or upgrade him to Sainz, knowing that first probably has Carlos and his team? I would keep Bortoleto. Sauber looked perfectly fine. Sammy says, how much F1 merch do you have? We're just going to pass that by. But a lot more recently in the last couple of years, especially when you go to Fuel for Fans. I was kind of touting them on TikTok, where you can follow me at F1 Fantasy Ewan. They had some phenomenal Black Friday sales, and I'm assuming they're also going to have some great Christmas sales. Verstappen plus Antonelli, Norris plus Antonelli, or Piastri plus Russell, playing the autopilot chip. Thank you. I like the Piastri-Russell kind of combo there. Hulkenberg or Alonso. I'm worried about DNF unluckiness for Alonso. Then I would go Hulkenberg. Deciding between Verstappen, Piastri versus Verstappen, Russell versus Norris, Russell, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. 138.8 budget. I would probably go Verstappen, Piastri there. Marino says, thanks for all the advice. You are welcome. You and thanks. Following you has helped me get into the top global 242 and top of my league with a comfortable lead of 200 points. Holy moly, Boy Savage 110. Great job by you. I'm sure I have done not a lot to help you. Sounds like you did perfectly fine by yourself. For the last time this season, can you help me? Should I do Max and Lando with Colapinto, Alonso, and Hulkenberg, or Max and Piastri with Hadjar, Sainz, and Alonso? No -10s either. I kind of like I think I like the pairing of the Tier B drivers the most. Hadjar, Sainz. I think I'll go the second option. Max and Piastri with Hadjar, Sainz, and Alonso. Verstappen, Russell to Verstappen, Piastri worth the -10? Probably not, actually, Charbrook. I can get triple McLaren, Mercedes, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Alonso, but is it worth it? I think that's a very strong lineup there, right there, Max. So go with it. I think I'm sitting on a 200-point lead or so in my mini league. Honestly, could probably even hold with Max, Piastri, McLaren, Mercedes, and just tweak B tiers and be okay, but I don't know if Piastri can tango. Yeah. It feels like one of those weekends where Piastri just kind of grows into the weekend. He showed us a little bit more in practice or FP3 today. I know he ended up, where did he end? Sorry about that. Mike hit. What was he? FP5? And Alonso, I think he had his quali sim at like the end of FP3 when the track was better. And I think Piastri went out first ahead of Verstappen and Norris and Russell. Not by much, but probably by enough that we can maybe put a little bit of like maybe track evolution on that for Piastri. Hello, thanks for all did I answer that question, The Flame? I think you're fine. I think tweaking the B tier drivers is fine. Karan, hello, thanks for all the content this year. I currently have a triple McLaren, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso, Mercedes with 140.8. Thoughts on any changes? I'd like to kind of get Hulkenberg in that team, to be honest. Maybe instead of Hadjar. I am 5 points. I am 5 points ahead of second in my mini league. They have final fix. I have nothing. Who is favored? Probably the other person, but final fix could be an overrated chip, so don't worry about it too much. Stick low. Best A tier drivers: Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, Russell, and that's it. No Ferrari. I guess I would go with Leclerc over Hamilton if I had to. Boy Savage 110. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Boy Savage. Yes. Okay. Back to the X accounts. Let's see what we got going on here. I think it's... I don't know. All right, I need to probably... Oh, Mamma Mia. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got Mercedes 75%, Red Bull Or Mercedes 76%, Red Bull 24%. All right, so is it going to be worth... Hold on. Is it going to be worth a -10 to bring in Max Verstappen for my squad? This means I'm covering off the 3 best teams of the weekend. I don't have enough to keep Sainz. Yeah, I don't really want to do a -10 to bring in Colapinto, but a -10 to bring in... Oh my goodness. Let's see here. So Red Bull out for Mercedes, bring in Verstappen. That leaves me with 6.1 million, which is enough for Nico Hulkenberg. But then that's a really weak tier B kind of vibe there. But it's not awful. Ugh. If I had 3 free transfers, then I could get another transfer to get up to, yeah, Isaac Hadjar right here. That's not bad. That's a -20, which I did last week, and it did not go well for me. So there we go. All right, locked in. Went the McLaren kick route to be able to afford Verstappen, Russell with Alonso, Sainz, Behrman. Good luck, everyone, and thanks you and for all your advice this year. You are welcome, Charbrook. Thank you for always hanging around, especially on those Q&A streams at like 4 o'clock in the morning, your time. Go to sleep, sir. And triple McLaren and Red Bull Racing or swap to Mercedes and a cheaper B-tier driver to leave 5 million to final fix into Max. It would save the -10. I like it. It sounds like you've thought that out quite well, and I support it. Which differential is better for Mercedes, Haas or Red Bull Racing? Budget of 137.7 and have Max as 2x and Russell currently in top 2K rank right now. I mean, I wouldn't bet on Haas if you're looking for a differential over Mercedes. It would be Red Bull. So yeah, that's the route I would go down, Shiv. Thank you for your advice. Followed your recommendations a lot throughout the season. I'm topping my country with a 292-point lead in the top 1,000 globally. Much love from Zambia. Ooh, I was in Zambia last year. Beautiful country. I hope you crush it this season. 292 points. It sounds like you're going to be the champ. So glad to have the champ of Zambia in the chat. Actually, that's a great question. Let me know, are you winning your most important mini league in F1 Fantasy? Drop your standings in the chat. Let me know where you're at in your country league, in your friends mini league. Like, let me know, are you going to win? What kind of hardware, what kind of trophy winning watchers do I have on the stream right now? So let me know in the chat. Fill up the chat with your best success story of 2025 as we have 43 minutes to go in F1 Fantasy. Jeffler says, Max Kimi Sainz Mercedes or Lando Kimi Hadjar Red Bull? Man. Probably Max Kimi Sainz Mercedes. I say tweak B tiers, but I already had Sainz, Alonso, and Hadjar, so I'd probably hold if anything. Haha. That's a flex, the Flame. Like, great job by you. What's the best lineup for Limitless? Triple McLaren, and then Verstappen, Russell, and then either Leclerc or Antonelli, whichever one you want to support in tomorrow's race, pretty much. Probably Antonelli. And then it really is a coin flip between Red Bull and Mercedes for me. Mercedes is a little bit favored, but Toto's talking about this race pace, which doesn't make me feel good. But let's see here. Practice debrief. Red Bull was clear on race pace. And I think the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is having Yuki Tsunoda as part of my F1 fantasy team for the final race. Because there is no upside with the Red Bull Racing constructor, because even if Yuki Tsunoda somehow squeaked out driver of the day, you don't get that when you have the constructor in F1 Fantasy, which is another reason why you should probably get rid of it in the game. Feels weird not taking Max as the Flame. I agree. Max Piastri, Hadjar, Behrman, Hulkenberg, or Max Norris, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Alonso using extra DRS. Thanks. Second option, yes. For you, Salvando. McAttack, what do you think of Norris, Russell, Albon, Alonso, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Mercedes? Trying to get back in the top 5K with differential picks also helped me not get negative points for transfers. Albon, Alonso, Hulkenberg. Yeah, that is quite nice. I like the differential of Albon. Last one, says Marino. Last one, I have Alonso. Would you upgrade him with Hulk? It would cost me a negative 10. I already have Kick and Bortoleto. No, I think you'd be fine. I don't think there's going to be a 10-point difference between Alonso and Hulkenberg. Max Orlando's pair with Piastri, Hadjar, Sainz, Hulk, Mercedes, and McLaren. Samsy, if I had the answer to that, I'd go out and buy a bloody lottery ticket, wouldn't I? But I'm leaning Lando. The data just looks strong for Lando. He won here last year pretty convincingly. It was with the pressure off. He had already lost the title by then. But, I think I'm leaning Lando because the data is telling me Lando. I know the sims are saying Max, but like from everything I've seen, it seems like Lando is doing fine. He might bottle qualifying, but that might leave the door open for Oscar. Captain Frost says, I'm first in my family league and my friends league. Great job by you, Captain Man. Hey, Ewan, what do you think would be the best team for 136.7 million? Desperately trying to go from 27 global rank to top 2K. So if I can, so differential possibly. Have Norris, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. Thanks. Honestly, probably going from Piastri to Russell and then Alonso to Ocon or something like that. That might be good for you, Austin. Hi, Ewan. Would you go Hulkenberg plus Bortoleto or Hadjar plus Colapinto to keep Max and Norris? I would go Hulkenberg plus Bortoleto. I'm occupying second, third, and fifth place in the Ghana League with just over 2,000 participants. Hey, don't worry about that, Carlo. Like, that's still great. Let's see. Prasan says, ranked number 1 in my office league at Mercedes. Ooh la la. Got 47 lead, debating negative 10 to take Norris, Verstappen or not. If you're upgrading from like Russell or Piastri, it probably will be worth it. Sino says, this is my first season. After a rough start, I made it second in my league and you helped a lot during the second half. I am happy to hear that, Sino. Great job by you. To use Final Fix or Autopilot with 2 free transfers on Norris, Antonelli, McLaren, Mercedes. I would probably use Final Fix, Cam, because then if Verstappen takes pole, you could Final Fix from Norris to Verstappen. That's actually quite nice. I'm second in my private league. Winner gets 400, second place gets 100, and third gets their $20 they put in initially. Great job by you, Henry. Red Bull usually good on pit stops. There you go. Number 3 in country Argentina, says Usak. Great job by you. Thinking of taking a negative 10 to get Lando and Verstappen in with McLaren, Mercedes, Alonso, Hulkenberg, and Colapinto. Yeah, I kind of like it. Number 600 global, says Usak. I'm leading my mini league by 220 points, 915 global. My gamble this week, Mercedes, Red Bull, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso. Great job, DK Andy, another member of the F1 Fantasy Pole Position YouTube channel or YouTube membership. Max, Lando, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. Should I consider Russell? Not with Max and Lando. You're fine there, Sechin. Don't worry about it. Bowie Knife. I'm 6th in Hong Kong. Dropped 2 from last week's poor 3x performance with triple McLaren. Yeah, that was a little bit rough, wasn't it, Bowie Knife? I think we were both there together. I was first, and then McLaren double DSQ dropped me 200 points a second. Then Qatar made up 120 points. Needed an 80-point differential this week against a Mercedes-heavy rival. Well, if Mercedes' race pace is really that bad, then you should be in a great spot, Jeff Lar. McLaren plus Mercedes plus Norris 2x plus Piastri plus Behrman plus Hulkenberg plus Hadjar or negative 10. I like the second option there, Dawan Toe. McLaren equals 3 DNS. I'm pretty sure you were saying that last week, Midius. McLaren hater. Risky not taking McLaren this weekend. Red Bull, Mercedes, Verstappen, Russell, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Sainz. That is a very strong team, Udo. And if it all works out and there's a double McLaren DNF, then you are flying high, my friend. Alrighty. Let's see here. What are we at? 170 people still watching, I believe. And let's try and get that over 100 likes, y'all. 100 likes for the final stream of the season. That seems appropriate, right? Just like that video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to ask a question during the final 37 minutes before the deadline of the F1 Fantasy season, drop a subscribe and you will get your question answered. All right, let's see. 170 people still watching, I believe. And let's try and get that over 100 likes, y'all. 100 likes for the final stream of the season. Just like that video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to ask a question during the final 37 minutes before the deadline of the F1 Fantasy season, drop a subscribe and you will get your question answered. All right, let's see. Let's see. What do we got? What have we got going on here? Oh, man. Haven't seen anyone lock in their teams yet on the content creator side. Maybe we're all keeping it close to our chests this weekend. Who knows? Samsy 1999. I'm leading my league by 47 points. I have a much larger budget, so I could play it safe with triple McLaren, but not having Max last week felt safe until McLaren happened. Yeah, McLaren got a McLaren, but I think they've got their heads screwed on straight this week, and I think they are going to prioritize winning the World Drivers' Championship. However that needs to happen. Norris plus Piastri or Verstappen. Norris plus Piastri or Verstappen, or Norris plus Russell. Russell always makes everything so confusing. He sure does. We call him the mop around here because anything that is available, he will clean that up. FP3 Simserline, thank you. Number 88 says Crypto Duck. Noticed the increased content lately, and it's awesome. You are welcome, Crypto Duck. Thank you for noticing. Hope you're having a great day. Any way to make up a 100-point difference with a 141.8 budget? Probably swerve McLaren and like steamroll into triple Mercedes or something like that. Hulkenberg for me, Ash K. Midius says Red Bull, Mercedes, Verstappen, Norris, Antonelli, Hulkenberg, and Ocon. That is a very, very nice team, Midius. Great job by you. Yangstar Jr. 5111. Triple McLaren, Sainz, Hadjar, Gasly, and Williams. 1.1 in the bank. 2-3 free transfers. Thoughts, please. Gasly to... What about Gasly to Hulkenberg and like Hadjar to Behrman? Can you get that? Or Sainz to Behrman? However you can get to Behrman. That might be kind of nice. The Flame. I keep flip-flopping. -10 autopilot with Max, Norris, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, or just rock with Max, Piastri, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Alonso. I do like the Behrman, Hulk, Alonso shout. That's really nice. Marek. Hi, I have 124.3 and wildcard for 60 points to get P1 in my league against Leclerc, Behrman, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes with 0.2 left. 3 transfer. Any suggestions? Thanks for the whole season of fun. You are welcome, Marek. I probably get Leclerc out of there. And Leclerc to Russell feels pretty nice. And then maybe Hadjar to Bortoleto. So I think that's kind of nice. 3x for Verstappen or Norris. Such a tough question. People seem to think that Verstappen is going to win the race. Despite it not... It looks close, but I think McLaren are going to... I think they're going to be fine. I would go Norris, but this is such a coin flip that you really... like. When it comes to that choice, y'all, with Verstappen plus Norris, like, you gotta, it's what I tell Rebecca all the time in the Discord and on these streams, like, when you go to bed tomorrow night after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and after the World Drivers' Championship has been settled, what are you going to be more happy about? Like, if you pick the guy that you believed in and it doesn't work out, or you pick the guy that you didn't really believe in and it doesn't work out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, being able to go to sleep being like, I picked the process, I did it the right way that I thought it was correct, and it worked out or it didn't work out. That's the way I go to sleep. That's the way I kind of process these games a little bit. William says, I'm fighting someone who's going to have Limitless. What would be my best route to compete? Triple McLaren, Mercedes, and then the highest, and then like Behrman and Hulkenberg, and that's like people with high ceilings. Stick with Williams constructors. I don't love it. They're like actually projected to score less than Kick Sauber, who are 11 million less than them. So I don't love Williams this week, Youngstar. 3x Verstappen or Norris. I think I just answered that, Anmol. Hopefully that helps. Is Antonelli fine after that contact in FP3? I'm pretty sure it was really minimal, and I haven't actually heard anything that says, oh, Adam is locked in. Holy moly. McLaren have the best car, and Norris was faster than Verstappen in all 3 practices, so this will be almost a full run back of my Qatar team. Hulkenberg in for Colapinto to free me from Alpine once and for all. What are you thinking this week? Yeah, so Adam's going with Mercedes. Okay. Red Bull has been fined 10,000 euros, and Tsunoda has been given a formal warning for impeding on Norris in FP3. Just woke up, says Rob. Just saw Norris plus Verstappen near the top of FP3, lightly taking a hit. The driver of the day plus fastest lap upside to offset the -10 seems oh so tempting. Final team for the final race weekend coming up very soon. Mamma mia. What else have we got? Got anything else in here? I don't see anything else. Okay, cool. Norris hurt me last week. Having him as 2x, he doesn't really do well under pressure, so I wonder if he's ready to win. I think he is. I think he can do it. Driver of the day, overtakes, positions gained, equals Verstappen. I was saying that, wasn't I, last week, Sammy? Like in the post race, like he's more likely. So yeah. Wait, I've not actually used Final Fix before. So if I have autopilot active, am I able to fix Final Fix Norris if I want to? No, you can only use one chip per weekend, Flame. So if you've already activated the autopilot chip, unfortunately, that means you are stuck with that chip for this weekend. The Real Mike 23AS says, hey, I have autopilot left, 3 free transfers, Norris, Antonelli, Hadjar, Alonso, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. Do I sacrifice anything to have a real second driver? Haha, I could move Piastri, Russell, but meh, or Mercedes to Williams, and then Norris plus Verstappen. No, I think you're in a really strong spot there, the Real Mike. I mean, Antonelli's probably not going to like blow the doors off or anything like that, but I think you're in a strong spot. But if you've got 3 free transfers, so if you want to use them or lose them, then I don't mind the Piastri Russell move, but I think the Norris Antonelli probably has a little bit more ceiling. Mark Johnson, Roche, Norris Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, Sainz, McLaren, blah, blah, blah. Versus Norris Antonelli, Verstappen Piastri. I would go number 2. Yeah, Verstappen Piastri is going to make up 10 extra points. But no, Verstappen Piastri is not going to make up 20 extra points on Norris Piastri. I don't think so. Autopilot or Final Fix is better to use today. SM Wojcik 96. Really tough. Depends how many and which Tier A drivers you have in your squad. If you have Verstappen plus Norris, it's probably worth using the autopilot there. But if you can only get to one of Norris or Verstappen, then it's probably more powerful to play the Final Fix chip, because then you can get to either of those guys after qualifying. Hopefully that makes sense. 2x Max, Piastri, Gasly, Hadjar, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes. Very nice, Sandro. Clap, clap, clap all around. I like that squad quite a bit. Animal Bull says 2 options. I like the Kick and McLaren option, Animal. I have Final Fix left. Currently triple McLaren, Sainz, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Mercedes. Should I leave room to Final Fix to Max? Well, if you have Norris, you automatically have the room to Final Fix to Max. I can do Sainz to Behrman and still Final Fix Norris to Max. Yeah, I really like that, William. You should probably do that. Thoughts on switching Mercedes to Haas to upgrade Hadjar to Russell? Generally, a constructor will outscore any one driver. So I think I would just stick with Mercedes. Sahil says, McLaren, Mercedes, Russell, Piastri, Hadjar, Alonso, Colapinto worth a -10. Otherwise, Russell, Antonelli, and no -10. Piastri will probably outscore Antonelli by 10 points. Sahil. Who am I picking? Clock is ticking. Hey, your rhyme is your crime, Samsy. All right. Yeah, it's probably about that time, huh? It's probably about that time to lock in. Okay. For maybe the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be stressing out about my F1 fantasy team, the final deadline here. So right now, we've got Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Red Bull. I don't want Gasly. I don't love Alonso. But Williams hasn't looked particularly strong this week. This feels really nice and simple and clean. This kind of Behrman, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Tier Bs with triple McLaren and Red Bull to get a little bit of max. I made my bed last week, kind of going, and look at this, Red Bull, 17% in the global top 500, and everyone expects them to take a step If Verstappen wins the race, I get a little bit of Red Bull. Yeah, that means Norris and Piastri not as good. Oh, man. This is a very clean lineup. I feel like I have almost the best Tier B drivers. I'd probably prefer Hadjar over Alonso. I just don't have the budget for it. Norris, Piastri, McLaren. Triple McLaren. That's a lot of eggs in the McLaren basket. Mamma mia. All right. I got to look at these sims a little bit. See, the sims say that it's okay as well. I genuinely think, good, I cannot get those words correct. Generally versus genuinely. I guess I'll work on that in 2026. I think Norris is going to win the World Drivers' Championship. I think that's 10 extra points in the bag. I think he's going to take pole. That's another 10 points. So that leaves 11 points available, according to the Sims. I think the Sims are maybe underappreciating Norris a little bit this week. It's 1.5 million difference. That's or 1.5 points difference. I think keeping Red Bull is fine. Piastri has had these weekends before where he kind of builds into them, and then like once qualifying comes along, I think he's going to have a point to prove. Oscar Piastri is going to have a point to prove and be like, hey, Lando, go ahead and win the World Drivers' Championship, but I'm won this last race of the season, so let's remember that heading into 2025 or 2026. Hulkenberg or Ocon? Hulkenberg for me, Sandro. The peer pressure worked. Samsy, it always works. I trust Alonso can be rapid. He's been in the top 10 in both free practice sessions. That is temporary. That's from last week when I did the 3X Neutrum. Colapinto and Hadjar and Red Bull, or Hadjar and Mercedes. Second driver, Piastri or Russell? Piastri. I think I'm going to go with triple McLaren, Red Bull, Hadjar, Alonso, and Hulkenberg. Feels safe, good hits. There we go, Samsy. Would you take a negative 10 to move Gasly and Sainz to Behrman and Alonso? Whew, yeah, probably. Do you consider downgrading your second cluster to kick and pick 3 Tier A drivers instead? It is an option I've been considering, Wojcik. I can't deny, but I don't know. It feels like if I had autopilot, I would like be 99% into that lineup. Stroller, Bortoletto, Nocturnal, probably Bortoletto. Rain hinted on a collab during the off-season with other content creators. Any chance that's you, says Cherbrook? Maybe. Yeah. I think we're going to have a good old chin wag at some point. I think that should be a lot of fun. Bortoletto, Nocturnal. Hear me now. If McLaren has a competitive car next year, Piastri becomes World Driver Championship. Why are the Sims saying Max? I think that's where I'm at as well, Stexlow. If you have autopilot, the AAA 1 Tier A constructor would go crazy. Yeah, I know. Zach posted interest. He is definitely risking it for the biscuit, says Ali. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a good team. Oh, jeez Louise. The only thing I don't really have to worry about Mercedes pit stops. I don't think they're that strong. And I think Red Bull will be dialed in to give Max Verstappen the best opportunity to win. This is genuinely nerve-wracking. There's 22 minutes until the deadline. Maybe I'd rub my Emmy 3 times. What? What says you? Well, it is an American award. So maybe having an American team in Haas in my lineup is a sign. Maybe that's what it means. The Flame, if you have a really big lead in your league, you should do it. I back you. Negative 20 for Norris, Antonelli, Bortoleto, Alonso, Colapinto, McLaren, Mercedes, or negative 10. Yeah. Emmy says triple Ferrari. Samsy, I thought we were friends. Why would you do that to me? I would go with the negative 10 options to Hill. Negative 20s are a lot. Negative 10 to go Sainz to Behrman? Probably not. I think Sainz looks all right. What's the Emmy for? I was at the 2022 Beijing Olympics, William. So that is, yeah, they won for Live Outstanding Special. And I got my throat gagged 30 days in a row doing COVID testing. So I think this is just enough reward for that. My entire season comes down to Norris Verstappen, currently in first place by 50 points. I know. What are you going to be more comfortable with going to bed with tomorrow night, Nocturnal? Mamma mia. All right. I think I'm doing this, guys. I think this is going to be my team. I think I'm going to give Lando Norris the DRS boost, though. I think that seems sensible. Red Bull is close enough to Mercedes. I think it's worth it. And then I like the Behrman, Hülkenberg, Alonso kind of trio of drivers. Mercedes is tempting. But Tsunoda, man. He's so bad. See, the problem is with Tsunoda, that cost me 10 points right off the bat. Red Bull to Mercedes and Gasly to Behrman? $229.9. Jeez Louise. Okay, let's go. 75%. The high point would be 16, 16, 16, 8, 15, 1. So if it's the bottom 25%, it'd be 1, 5, 7. Ah, man. I wish I had an extra transfer. That would be nice. Whew. Me, oh me. All right, we're doing it for the memes. Triple McLaren with Max and Kick, all the pilot. Hadjar to Hülkenberg, Sainz to Ocon. I like those. I said it in Discord too. I really like Alonso, Behrman, Hülkenberg. Alonso, Behrman, Hülkenberg. Alonso, Behrman, Hülkenberg. Yeah, I'm just going to trust what I've been seeing. Alonso, Behrman, and Hülkenberg. With Lando Norris getting the DRS boost. I don't like not having Max Verstappen, but having a little bit of Max Verstappen is fine. Jeez. What am I doing here? We're over 100 likes. Thank you for being over 100 likes. I think this is fine. I think it's fine. Keep Sainz. Hülkenberg better than Bortoleto? I think so, William. I think so. Red Bull race pace. If Tsunoda can just get through to Q2, that's all I would need. Race simulation pace. Toto's saying that their race pace doesn't look good. Russell could get on pole and totally mess things up. If Max goes out of the first turn, RB sucks. Yeah, that is true. Qualifying, ideal laps. Russell was down there a little bit. I think Max is going to be fine. Ah, man. Better TRA constructor. 79% of y'all are saying that Mercedes is better than Red Bull. The B tier drivers don't matter that much, right? Behrman plus Hulkenberg or Sainz plus or Hadjar plus. If Sainz or Hadjar, honestly, I would pair all of those with Hulkenberg. I'm really hoping for Max disaster. Only way to recover my league, says William. Yeah, that's rough. Jeez, this is tough. This is very tough, and I do not like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. Red Bull should be fine. Having no Max Verstappen coverage in a Grand Prix that he can win feels a little crazy. I'd rather cover Verstappen off than not after last week, says Samsey. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm locking in triple McLaren, Red Bull, Hadjar, Hulk, Alonso. You've helped me every weekend since I found your channel this year. Massive thank you. Can't wait for next year. Get that goosey. Yeah, they actually said loosey goosey on the F1 TV coverage yesterday. I'm gonna have to clip that off and like make an intro out of it because like I should trademark that. Worth -10 for getting rid of Hadjar for Sainz or Hadjar for Hadjar. No, I think Hadjar's gonna be fine this weekend. I think I'm a little bit scared by the ownership of Mercedes. But I still don't know. That race pace thing is kind of bugging me. So this is not really risking it for the chocolate biscuit, but it feels fine. Feels good. Not taking a -10 after my -20 last week. All right, we're locking this in, guys. This is it. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Behrman, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Red Bull Racing. This is the final team of the 2025 F1 Fantasy season. I can't believe it's here. Can't believe this is the final deadline. Mamma mia. Lando's going to win. Mercedes are considerably cheaper and more affordable. You are correct. Frederick says 3X McLaren, Williams, Hadjar, Alonso, Colapinto, or 3X McLaren, Aston, Antonelli, Hadjar, Alonso. The second option, Frederick. And yeah, I would go autopilot. That sounds good to me. Ocon or Sainz? Ocon for the differential, Jeff. All right. Best under 20 mil constructor. Honestly, I like Sauber this week. TDVN PLS. Max is going to win. Let's go. If Max wins, that's fine because I got Red Bull. Sorry, Typer was getting rid of Law. Anyway, thanks for making great content. And I'm stressed too. So am I. So am I. Worth -10 for Ocon or keep Sainz? I'd probably keep Sainz. I think that's why more people have Mercedes. Just cheaper to squeeze in quad A tier. Bortoleto or Hadjar this weekend? Probably Hadjar. Locking it in. It's done. We did it. We did it, folks. All right. Let me tweet this out real quick. And then I will answer your questions for the final 13 minutes of the F1 Fantasy season. Holy moly, how did we get here? All right, let me get this here. Thank you, everyone. I know that was probably not the best content to watch. Just some F1 Fantasy content creator just freaking out. But that's where I'm at for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Trusting my big swing from last week to reward my patience. No Alpine feels good. Patience. Trusting my big friend from last week to reward my patience. Good luck to lamp is locked for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Post. It is done. We have sent the lineup. We have fully sent it. Do I autopilot? Blah, 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 blah. I need to maintain. I'd FF. Who else have we got here? Who else have we got? Oh, someone's there. Yep. This is where I'm at. That's what I did. That is what I did. That was my final team. Oh my goodness. I guess I should do my final 2 teams as well, huh? T2. What are they saying? Hulkenberg and Behrman, and keep Mercedes. Hulkenberg and Behrman, keep Mercedes. So Hulkenberg, remove driver, Hulkenberg and Behrman. There we go. Keep Verstappen, confirm changes. Slightly off topic. How many transfers it says you've done all season? I think I've done... So how many transfers should we have? 48? Is that right? No love for T2 and T3. Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it, Benads. Let's get that sorted here. Let's just see. Verstappen and Hulkenberg in instead of... Verstappen and Hulkenberg in. Instead of Yuki. Look at that. There we go. Verstappen and Hulkenberg. Bada bing, bada boom. And then... Yeah, let's do that. Give that to him. Boom. Confirm changes. All right. We got some exposure all across the board here. All right, back to it. McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, then Sainz or Hulkenberg. For me, Mitch Kirkham. I have a very similar team to you. Currently triple McLaren, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso plus Merck. Can you get to your starting lineup in 2 transfers, but with Merck, no chips? Best move. I am global 1200, hoping for top 1K, or probably need to go a little bit differential there. So maybe Hadjar to Ocon. Good call, says Will. Thank you, Will. Good luck, y'all, says Alexander. Good luck to you as well. Playing F1 Fantasy really gives me moral dilemmas. Wanting Max to win the World Drive, but thinking Lando and that papaya ruling rocket ship will win. I think they are too strong. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for such a great stream all year, says Alligator. You are welcome, Alligator. Thank you for hanging out with us all season long. Worth taking -10 if I have autopilot to get Verstappen in. Sure, if it's paired with Norris. Thank you for the great streams. Found you late in the year, but I love how interactive you are with the chat. Have a good offseason and see you in 2026. Yes, you will, William. Yes, you will. What else have we got here? This is just got a message from Reuter. So that's funny. Just saying thanks for the season. Thank you to Reuter as well. All right, what else have we got here? Good luck, Ewan. Whew. Can't believe it's done. The final stressful decision for what? 7 weeks? Or 8 or 12 weeks maybe? Let's see. Do we have any other F1 fantasy content creators locking in their team? I think Rob and Rain are probably stressing out a little bit. If anyone's watching Rain's stream, let me know what he's up to. He's ahead of me right now, so... But I think he was thinking about going to Red Bull this week, but I don't know if he is. All right, let's see here. Can't get that. Like I said, above me, thank you for an incredible 2025 season, everybody. Like, seriously, wild stuff. I'm not even sure if I have this correctly here. Let me see. What have we got? Do I have this? I don't know. Where is this screenshot? I think it's this one. I might be wrong. We'll see how it goes. Is this the right one? Okay. If I turn off... I don't want to turn off the background. I want to turn off... Yeah, see, that's the wrong one. Image slideshow. There we go. Thank you for the season, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. Over 3,500 new subscribers, over 400,000 views, like all this stuff. Alonso or Hulkenberg for me. 2x Verstappen and Norris attempting to maintain rank. Probably Norris then for me. Jeff Lauer banking on Max getting driver of the day, even if Norris wins the championship. That could happen. That could definitely happen. But yes, like I said, like just wild times this season. The Flame says, yes, good luck, everyone, and thanks again, you, for all the content each and every week. You are very welcome, Flame. Thank you for always being in the chat. It makes everything worth it. Coming hanging out with you guys for these couple of hours every week, and then during the Q&A streams, like all that stuff. So thinking about some new stuff for 2026. And if you guys have any ideas for the channel for 2026, hit me up on X, hit me up on TikTok at F1 Fantasy U, and just drop me a message saying what you liked, what you didn't like. So yeah, that is always welcome. I'm always looking to make the channel better. Whew. People are checking out. We got 100 viewers and 120 likes. So people are like, I've locked in my team. Try to get there. Thank you, UN, says Captain Frogman. You are welcome. But don't worry, y'all. There's going to be a race review tomorrow. It's going to be later than usual because I'm going to wait for all the scores to be finalized. I want to come on here, know my final ranking, know all the prices. I don't want to just like get off of here and be like, I think this is where I ended up. So, and my family's in town, so I will be kind of hanging out with them a little bit as well. During the day, I'll be watching the race. Don't worry, I'll be watching the race. Yeah. So maybe create a channel league next year. I actually did have a channel league, Jefflar. Sorry. It's actually in the link below, but I'll be, there will be like a members league if in 2026 you want to support the channel that extra bit more. I think I might rework that a little bit to make it more accessible to everybody. So stick around for preseason updates on that. Thanks, Ewan, says JLP. You're welcome. Number one creator in the game. Oh, I really appreciate that. 1800. But there are so many good ones out there. Like, I think everyone is fantastic, but I appreciate the sentiment. Mark Johnson, Ewan, you're a legend, mate. Thank you for all the F1 fantasy pole position content and the loosey-goosey math. I don't know if you should be thanking me for the loosey-goosey math, Mark. Hopefully that has guided you in the right direction, but it is loosey-goosey, so we'll never know how it all ends up. Thank you for all the content, Ewan, says Michael. You are very welcome. Let me put this back up here because that is what everyone is probably coming here to look at. Let me get rid of that. And let's pop up this team, the final team of F1 Fantasy 2025 season with 4 minutes to go. Let's see. Got some people saying thank you on Twitter. Yeah, let's see. Do we have anyone's final lineups? Have Rob or Rain let us know what is up. Come on, guys. I want to see it. My F1 fantasy team, Abu Dhabi, is locked. Ocon to Alonso, Gasly to Hulkenberg. Made a huge mistake. Made changes to my T2 on my T1 half asleep without realizing. Can't believe I did this for last week. No words. Piastri stayed. Would have taken a -10 for Verstappen FML. Good luck, y'all. Oh, no. Rob, say it ain't so, mate. I think that means... Okay, we have very similar teams once again. Ewan, join YouTube channel or Patreon? Probably the YouTube channel, Mark. And then hit me up on X and I will get you that link into the Discord for the off season because it's a lot easier for me to post the members only videos on YouTube than it is on Patreon. I need to talk to you about that, Benods. Just a heads up. Alligator, bye everyone. Enjoy quality. See you in 26. See you later, Alligator. Oh, I've been waiting to use that all season, and I finally got it in 3 minutes before the deadline. Cheers and thanks, says Maxie. You're welcome. Thanks for all the content, great videos and tips all the way, says Alexander. You are very welcome, Alexander. Thank you for the amazing season. You are welcome, Born to Drift. Thanks, man. I'm leading my league by 100 points in my first season. Surely your weekly videos have helped me with a winky face. Yeah, hopefully a little bit. Hopefully a little bit. All right, let's see. Wojcik says, McLaren cake for Verstappen, Norris, Piastri. Yes! Let's go, Wojcik. You are a braver person than I love that. Thank you. Let me know how that works out for you tomorrow in the race review stream. Thanks, you for all the great content. You are very welcome, Bowie and I. No worries. I told you it's easy enough to close Patreon, just sub on YouTube. Thank you, Benods. I really appreciate that. We will get that sorted out because, yeah, Patreon is like nice, but it's not as simple as I want it to be. So we'll see how it goes. Ewan, just want to say thank you. Finding your channel made me look really good in my first year in F1 Fantasy. I secured P1 in both of my leagues. Thanks for the great content. Best out there. Thank you, Mitch. Really appreciate it. Hope you can clinch those leagues and go back to back in 2026 when we all return for 2026. Locked in Verstappen, Norris, Antonelli, Hadjar, Alonso, McLaren, kick plus autopilot. Let's go, Captain Frogman. Thanks. You're very welcome, Will. Anyway, enjoy quality one. Best of luck this weekend. Here we go. See you on the other side. Thanks for your great insights, as always, says Charbook. You are very, 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 very welcome. Whew. Mamma mia. Nick is saying he's going... Okay, yeah, nice. Red Bull and Mercedes. Oh, nice. Love that. Spicy lineup, mate. What a season. Let's finish strong. All right, later, alligator. Haha, enjoy. Yes, you too, alligator. Oh, man. I can't believe it. It's finally here. I hope I didn't mess up my lineup. I'll just refresh it one more time. Okay, it's locked in there. I've got Norris as the DRS. That's good. Piastri, Alonso, Behrman, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Red Bull Racing. 25 seconds to go. And we are ready. That's it. We are locked in, I believe, people. I guess my timer was a little bit off. Brilliant. Subscribe, join the YouTube channel, and support the F1 Fantasy Position Show. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate it. McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Alonso. Great lineup. Chook. That looks really, really good. We are in qualifying, everybody. That is it for the stressful portions of F1 Fantasy 2025. Now all we can do is sit back, relax, and let the wave of emotions kind of drift over us during the final race of the season. I hope tomorrow is fantastic. I hope we don't get any controversy. And I hope Lando Norris has a frickin' 55-point day in F1 Fantasy. Holy moly, that would be great. Thanks, Ewan, for everything. Leading my league by 40 points in my year. Unfortunately, I didn't come across your stream until halfway through the season, but thanks again. You are very welcome, Jay. I hope you will be back for 2026, along with the rest of the 4,122 people subscribed to this channel. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to go watch a little bit of qualifying before I head to the Christmas market. Probably won't be bringing this bad boy along with me, but it'll still be here when I get home. So that is nice. Hopefully everyone has a great weekend. I will be back tomorrow evening for a race review, the kind of season wrap-up race review stuff. And yeah, so you guys have actually absolutely crushed it. You've made this so easy to do all season long. So thank you once again. And for the final time on the Deadline live stream, once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you tomorrow, and I will talk to you next time.